guys, welcome. What's up to the Council Chronic? I'm recovering from a massive Godzilla hit at this point and trying to do the intro today. We're going to be talking about Endgame. We might go somewhere else, but for the most part, it's been a couple weeks. The spoiler ban has been lifted. We should probably say right from the get-go there are spoilers. We are talking about the whole movie. We are not gonna, say it again. Just so you know, don't go any further if you do not want Avengers Endgame spoilers. It's very important. Even if we fuck up the spoiler because we don't remember it, you never know. You just don't, spoilers. With that said, you just left off. We were talking about the general idea of the people that disappeared in Endgame after the snap and Infinity War. They are brought back by Hulk when he snaps, and it's 5 years later. We've traveled 5 years into the future at this point. No, I guess because they're not in the future. When are they? Because it's the current Nebula. If you think about it, evil Nebula. They're in that. They're that's happening just as Guardians of the Galaxy should be happening.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. You mean no? When they go back in time?
The timeline.
No, you're talking. We were talking about the 5 year span when people reappeared.
Yeah. How come they don't look any
after the snap? Yeah, because they just vanished. So they just reappeared in their original form that they vanished. Like time never really changed for them.
So what about anybody that was flying a plane or doing any kind of danger? Whenever they're in the middle of the road and the road's not in the same position it was when they were crossing and they vanished, did they hit by cars and animals? Remember, he zips away all the animals as well.
Yeah,
half of all the population. So if you just zip all of those back, you're gonna tell me that there's no casualties from mistakes where they left people?
Well, the people that died didn't come back. Only the people that he snapped away.
Right.
Technically, so Loki only survives because they changed the past for him. But if he was killed, then he would have been dead because he wasn't snapped away.
What I'm saying, so they snap away. Let's say I'm Captain James T, not Kirk, of some plane in the sky, and I snap away, right? And then 5 years happens and I'm snapped back. Now, that plane is not in the same place it was when I was snapped away. Am I just snapped into the sky without a plane?
They weren't snapped back into their original place where they were snapped away.
Where do they appear? Because when Spidey shows up, he says, 1 minute I was turning to dust, the next minute I'm on the planet where we left you guys.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's where he disappeared at. So it
said that they brought him back there?
Yeah, he says, and next thing I know, I'm on that planet where you left me, and Doctor Strange is saying it's been 5 years, and all these people were there. So he says they zapped him back to that planet.
When he said all these other people were there, they were the only ones that got snapped out.
Well, all the Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord gets snapped out on that planet, Gamora gets snapped out, or not Gamora, Drax gets snapped out of that planet, Mantis gets snapped out.
Oh, I understand now. Yeah, that's an interesting point. What if he was in the sky? Does he get snapped back?
So for all the regular people,
the plane
all these
material, the plane didn't get snapped away.
Yeah,
if it's the pilot, that plane went down.
So does it return them? Did they return? That's what I'm glad you're on board now. Did it return them to where they were? People that, let's say, were in the middle of the road because there was no car and it was safe to walk are now being returned to like shit, garbage truck. So sure, half of them were returned, but how many just died from incidental, stupid accidents because you're driving, and suddenly there's like 20 people in the road, and he's mow through a couple of them,
Might happen.
So yeah, that's kind of a loophole, I guess, that I found in that one. We'll go on for general loop because I love the film. I love the movie. Just that idea cracked me up. So one big thing, I know a lot of people. There's a lot of things going around about this movie that people are pissy about, and it frustrates me for some of this. The first one is Fat Thor. A lot of people, there's a lot of flack that they made him fat, and they don't understand why, and it was supporting the obesity. I think it made sense to his character.
It was kind of funny. It was weird that he would get fat because he used to eat anything and drink all that beer and never got fat, but I guess he was being very active. They didn't really ever show him working out.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought he was just a guy and had like a super body.
Who could do and eat and whatever he wanted.
It was a little weird because they showed him in this kind of weird depressive state. And I'm like,
But he was still dealing with. He felt he failed to save everyone.
He's a super strong god. I feel like he could have done better. They kind of made him a little too.
So you're on board with it. You didn't like Fat Thor.
I didn't not like him. It was funny. It was definitely funny. But
it showed a vulnerable side.
I prefer seeing Thor as a god and stronger and above all that shit.
He was still just as strong. That's why it's such a big deal when he goes to the past and he goes, wait a minute, and the hammer comes, I'm still worthy.
No, you forget. This guy is supposed to be kind of the protector of the realm. And the realm, all the worlds lost half the people, and there was chaos everywhere. Last time I checked, he was traveling across the world helping those people, remember? Back in Thor. This time, he was just sitting on his ass playing video games.
Well, because he let them all die. He feels since he didn't aim for the head the first time, he let them all down. He was super depressed.
But he's already had this lesson of redemption. He's had this lesson before.
Not to this scale. I think to him personally, he had the redemption lesson. But he literally feels like he let down the entire universe. Because he had a chance to aim for the head, and he wanted to be able to tell Thanos to his face, I told you you were going to die for that, before he finished him off. So his own hubris, he was feeling that guilt was weighing on him, and then that's where like the weight and all the kind of depression and stuff came in.
I just feel like, especially after 5 years, I'd say Thor should have stronger than that. 5 years seems like a lot of time.
How much fucking was he eating, too, to put on that much weight to be Fat Thor?
Yeah. That was the only thing. It kind of bothered me. I feel like he should have been more. He should have been stronger and should have been a better role model character. That's part of Marvel, it's strong, overcome.
Well, he does. That's the. I mean,
he does eventually. Yeah.
Again. He is still worthy when he gets to the hammer.
5 years.
And then he still, at the end does deliver when he has both hammers. Even though he gives the one over to Cap, he's still a Stormbreaker and kicks some ass, man.
And I was like, I knew it.
I knew it.
That was awesome.
Well, that leads to kind of a next big one.
He was still awesome. And they're saying that, are they going to bring it back in the next one? Is he still going to have a gut in the next movie?
Yeah, it's going to, I guess that'll depend on where it comes from. It looks like he's joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. And I don't know if it's a nod to the Asgardians of the Galaxy. There's an actual comic called the Asgardians of the Galaxy. But it's very recent. So there's even jokes that it being in the script created the comic and not the other way around, where usually the comic creates it being in the script. But yeah, I mean, I like the title. It's fun. The other rumor is that Beta Ray Bill is going to be in the movie. He is an alien version of Thor. So Thor protects, they explain there's the 9 realms. He's the Thor of this realm. In the other realms, there's other Thors. So in one of the other realms, he's the Thor, Beta Ray Bill. And they said he's going to be in this one. So it makes sense that Thor is also in the card. They need someone to combat him. Beta Ray is a perfect counter. He is just as strong, just as cocky, but he's smarter. He doesn't really have that, I'm the best attitude. He just walks in and I am the best. There is no funny, if I remember, Beta Ray Bill. Not as much, anyway.
Okay.
So I think they're going to turn their
with James Gunn being back on board.
It'll be interesting, too, to see Gamora, because she doesn't have the history with Star-Lord now. So she's told by...
Oh, so he changed the future.
Yeah, she's told, if you remember, by Nebula that this is the one she likes. But when he goes to embrace her after all that time, she kicks him in the dick. Why? It's like, I don't know who the fuck you are. Really, this is the one that I chose. It was this or a tree. You're like, all right.
Ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
So she is one of the Guardians, but she's not happy, fun, changed by love Gamora. She's still, I was on the verge of slaughtering the universe Gamora, but she just didn't really want to do it. She knew Thanos was wrong. She saw an opportunity. So yeah, I think Guardians 3, and then yeah, you're right, James Gunn being back. That's the biggest thing, because he can continue what he wanted to do.
So, what happens with Black Widow, man? Because there was supposed to be a whole spin-off thing on it. Is it only going to be a prequel series at this point? Because they didn't bring her back.
You assume she did a lot of stuff that people will probably enjoy to see before Avengers, when she was in Russia and being the spy here, and
Oh, that's
so I assume
fun.
they're gonna do stuff like that. I imagine kind of like the Agent of Carter show, but with way more action, since it'll be Natasha Romanoff who can actually kick some ass, as opposed to Agent Carter, who was a strong, cool female character, but was not as connected to this universe. Widow is still very, I mean, she's an original Avengers, so you're like, all right, she's very connected to this universe. Carter, it was a stretch because they were like, well, yeah, this is Tony's dad and this is Miss, but they're not the characters we know. And they occasionally mention things that we see in the movies, but it was as distant as like Shield was to me.
I do have a question though. Somebody returned the Soul Stone, the one that was given for her life, correct?
Right.
That was Captain. He had to return the stones.
Yes.
What did he get? How did he return the Soul Stone? Could he bring that life back when returning that Soul Stone? Is it? They
I'm
never
not
showed
really
that.
sure, because yeah, I guess he does have to, because he had to return them all to their
Is
prospective
it possible
places.
that he brought her back to life and they just bring her back in that universe saying, "Oh, he gave the Soul Stone back in exchange for my life"?
I mean, I think he just has to give it back, and then someone else has to try again to get it. I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't think about that. You're right. He did have to take. I mean, all the rest of them kind of made sense when he slipped them back in place, but that one is just returning it to its area of existence.
Yeah, because he wasn't the one that got it in the first place.
And if he returned it, does that mean he saw Red Skull again?
Oh, that's
Because he's the only one of them that actually knows who that guy is. Everybody else is just like, you're some weird, fucking creepy Grim Reaper dude with a German accent. He'd show up and be like, you. You know? And then you're like, you sent me here, you bastard. It would not be the friendly, like, you have to give a soul. It'd be like, you son of a bitch, you're going to be the soul, you asshole.
Oh, that's a whole nother movie right there.
Well, and so there's this huge, it's funny you bring that up, this huge fan theory that when he went back after going into the ice, he shows up and lives out this life again. He still had the shield that whole time. You can't tell me he just settled and had a family. There's no way he at least once or twice picked up that shield to go help. I mean, there's other wars to go work in. What about Nam? He would have picked up his shield to go fight in Nam.
Yeah, probably. He just continued his life.
Yeah, he just kept living back then, and he was
Yeah.
able to live with Carter
Yeah.
and marry her. But there's no way he just went and had kids and like settled
No,
down
he
as
was
Captain.
a super soldier.
Hell
I
yeah!
mean,
So there's a
he went and-
ton more stories they can still tell
Yeah,
about that.
I mean, just him returning the stone. Obviously, he still had to do some crazy stuff back then. He wasn't gonna
Yeah.
let the bad guys survive.
Yeah, no, hell no, he's Cap. I mean, I could see him for the first couple of weeks doing pretty good, and then, randomly at some gas station, someone's robbing the gas station back in the 50s, and
But think about it. Even Agent Carter's character wouldn't just
yeah,
settle
she
down
wouldn't
for
just settle and
nothing. No.
retire either,
That
yeah.
was another like, oh hell no, I'm gonna stop everybody.
So yeah, they lived some kind of other fun adventures that they could go back on at some point if they wanted.
Yeah, next. But hey, Anthony Mackie is Captain America now. Is it a different name? Is it gonna be a different name?
No, he's probably going to be Captain America because I'm pretty sure he maintains the Captain America moniker. It almost gets passed on like a moniker at this point. And he paints the wings red, white, and blue, and the shield is attached to one of the wings kind of thing, so he can throw it as well.
But how does that work? Does he get some sort of super soldier serum in the future? Is that what happens? Because he's not a super soldier. He's a regular human.
He is. I don't remember him getting
He just
the
has
super
that.
soldier serum. He has tech. Is kind of his thing. He has a lot of tech.
Yeah.
Which,
Does
as
he
we've
get
seen
more
with Tony,
tech
can
or-
make him pretty damn strong. Yeah, his tech is always improving. We've seen it with the bird, and then from the bird now the wings, in this one in Endgame, he dives at that one point after the battle and like slams his wings into the big badass, like they're weapons,
Oh, you know what? That might be coming. You saw the new Iron Man that they showed at the end, right?
Like the War Machine outfit.
No. You remember when they were all all those people there when they're saying goodbye to
Oh,
Tony.
and there's the kid.
The kid.
The little kid.
That's the little kid from before that he gave all that takey stuff to. Remember?
Kid Iron. I don't remember what his name is in the comic
Iron
books.
Kid, I think. Or
Iron
something.
Kid, something
Is it
like
something
that.
like that?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be the next.
Yeah, he leaves all the tech to him at the end of Iron Man 3, and so there was that kid standing there. It was kind of nod to that.
The reason that it's not even that. The reason I say that is because a long time ago, I remember when Iron Man came out, and there was a lot of questions of how long Robert Downey Jr. was gonna stay along. The heads of the studio said that they want Iron Man to be. They compared him to James Bond. They want it to be a character that goes on
No matter who plays him,
forever. So it seems like that's a good way to transition to the
Cast
next
him really,
act.
yeah, and think him in the next 20 films, no problem, right?
I mean, what better way than that they've probably been molding for the last how many years since that Iron Man movie?
Yeah, just
to
hang
be
out
this
with Tony or Robert Downey Jr. Just mimic this guy. Just be like him.
If I'm correct, they probably put a ton of money into this kid already to probably mold him to be this character.
Yeah.
And when that movie comes out, he's going to be ridiculous.
There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of plans for the universe, and I think that's why they didn't have a post-credit scene. A lot of people weren't happy about that, is because the whole movie has nods to what could be coming next. The entire film is a post-credit scene. Because there's the A-Force nod. That's another thing I had up on the board there, which was when they show all the girls come in to protect Spider-Man. And everyone, well, it felt forced. It's like, well, all of these post scenes feel forced. They're trying to give you a shot from the comic book. That's the idea. And that was a nod to, it's an all-female Avengers team called the A-Force. There's the scene with him as the kid. That's another, it's like here's another secret nod. Are we going to do Young Avengers? You don't know. I think there's 3 different snaps that happen now on Earth. Because Hulk snaps, Thanos has the original snap, and then Tony snaps finally when Tony dies. And that they're predicting is going to bring about mutants. That's totally enough energy wave all in one spot there coming from Earth that would mutate the genetics of certain human beings that were susceptible to it. Boom, X-Men. I think way too much about this shit.
Mind blown. Yeah. Their timetable feels so long from now. I just.
They have
almost feel like I'm planned already for this.
Not including the Fantastic Four X-Men stuff. There are literally 40 movies in the general idea of works in this universe coming up. And Blade is definitely part of that plan, apparently. So that sounds neat. Morbius, the vampire, he's another one that's part of that plan. He's one of the darker universes. I don't know if you still want to hit this guy.
I demand content faster.
3 Marvel movies a year is not enough. Pick it up, you slackers. Oh my gosh, I just ripped the bottom of this.
No, it's okay.
Spin it. Here, just want to hit this.
I'm good.
I'm pretty good. I'm going to put this out for now.
Yeah.
I still got this moon rock here.
I'm excited to see what Disney has planned with their streaming service. So that'll be a nice addition.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff that's planned for the Disney streaming that'll be neat. Speaking of, there's an homage to one of the shows, the Howard the Duck show, and he shows up in Endgame, and I guess you haven't seen it yet, but the exact frame, if you guys get a chance to look, when Wasp shows up, so they're doing the scene at the end where everybody's kind of like, here we are, and they're all coming out of the portals. It scans through all the characters, and then boom, like Wasp flies up, and if you watch right kind of the middle of the screen, there's a big guy and he marches, and as he marches past Wasp like this, you'll see Howard the Duck standing there with the Tommy gun behind him marching along. So he shows up, he's there, ready to kick some fucking ass.
They're supposed to be doing something, I think, some kind of show or movie.
I think an animated series written by Kevin Smith and then the guy from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And that's going to, Howard, like,
what? Going to be part of the Disney Plus.
That's going to be on the Disney Plus.
Of course.
One of their
shows.
shows.
They're doing a show about Loki, I believe.
Yeah, which I don't know if it's going to be things he was doing before or now that he exists out there. Because when they went back, they fucked up. And you see him, like, there's the Tesseract, and he grabs it and bails. So he has the Tesseract in an alternate universe out there somewhere alive. He is still there. So maybe it's just Loki fucking with people trying to stay off the radar of the Avengers. And he's the evil Loki. He's not the one that experienced fun and fell like, oh, my brother's my brother. He's still the one that's like, fuck these guys, fuck the Avengers. Hulk slammed me around like an asshole. So they can go back to him being a bad guy for a while again. He's not this good guy Loki he was turning into, which was fun. I like that dynamic, but it's fun to recreate. When Thor sees him again, he's going to be like, brother, trying to give him a hug, and Loki's going to fucking stab him and turn him into a frog. He did that once, you know. It was funny. It was not funny.
That's horrible. That would be funny. A lot of ways it can go. That was fun. I'm good. I'm at that level right now, Gavin.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's kind of our overall general Avengers review. If there's things that we need to talk about we missed, we'd do it again. But I'm definitely about there too. So you know what? Take one more bong rip. For us, we're gonna finish these moon rocks. But I'm stumbling through my words. We're gonna check out now. Thanks again, as always. Like and subscribe to these videos. Anything else? Stroke it before you smoke it.
Peace and love. Yeah. No, you said that back.